Hello, my beautiful human beings. My name is Kelpie. Welcome to my channel. Feel free to check my other social media and join our sensible community. Without further ado, let's start with the first story. Tyler Life had the fuck up of the month on Reddit with the story. She hates my love making tunes and didn't tell me for over 2 years. My 20 female girlfriend of 2 years told me the music that I 25 male play during sex is weird and a major turnoff. A little backstory. When I first started having sex, I researched into ways to be better as I was a little stiff and pretty much had no idea what I was doing. I read online that you can play music and match the rhythm in order to put on a better performance. I searched love making songs and started slowly creating a playlist in which I was comfortable matching the rhythm. There are a few songs to my playlist. However, there is one song in particular, which actually happens to be my favorite, that my girlfriend hates and says turns her off in a major way. I don't understand why it has taken her 2 years to tell me she hates that song. It's a good love-making song with good rhythm. I feel the way I fucked up is I could have possibly asked her previously if she likes the playlist, or any songs she'd like to add, change. But to leave it for 2 years thinking our sex life is great, but in her eyes has just been ruined by my music has left the whole situation feeling awkward, and I'm a bit annoyed. I pretty much played this tune every single time, so the amount of times she must have not been enjoying it, when I thought the complete opposite is annoying, but also embarrassing in ways. Not to mention my previous partners. However, they never complained about the song, so maybe it's just her. It's fucked up the relationship, to be real, because sex feels awkward now. The other day, we were having sex with no music, but I was still thrusting to the tune, playing in my head. She recognized this and asked me to stop. I thought the song was perfect, and I always thrust along with the tune and feel it gives me the perfect rhythm for doing the D2. I usually bust to this song and find it devastating she hates the song. The song in question is called Hudson Mohawk by CBT. Saxon, in no way can someone be this clueless. No way. I refuse to believe it. First, you shouldn't be playing the same song every time you bang. Second, it should never be this song. It's absurd that this is even thought of, joke or not. Another user answered, I tried it on my wife for the sake of science, and she asked if I'd acquired a head injury. We are 042 on this one, bud. And another user follows with, I'm sitting on the toilet laughing uncontrollably to the comments in this thread. If this was a serious post, OP, you should rethink your approach to sexual relations. It's not about the rhythm, it's about communicating with your partner. Let's share my thoughts about this story. One sentence that drew my attention was, I feel the way I fucked up is I could have possibly asked her previously if she likes the playlist or any songs she'd like to add, change. I wonder if assuming instead of asking is something recurring in your relationship. On the other hand, maybe your partner understood that's something that you put effort and made you happy. So she put her needs behind it until she could no longer, and she communicated it to you directly. For the way that you reacted, maybe that's why your girlfriend never shared her feelings with you. I'm pointing this out because you focused more on your inner pain, rather than having a talk about how to move from there to make things enjoyable for both. Also, maybe your girlfriend didn't know how to communicate that to you. A feeling that you can probably empathize because is the exact situation that you're facing at this exact moment. I say that there's a communication issue that needs some work, but there's no reason why OP and her partner couldn't solve this out if they focus on sharing their feelings without judgment or resentment and ask or look out for sexual advice. And maybe leave the music out of the equation for a little while. Let's take a look at the next story. Haley Lupin asks, am I the asshole for not sending out photos of my newborn? I gave birth to my first baby on October 10th. When we got checked in at the hospital, my husband and I obviously told a few people, including my parents. My mom's immediate reaction was let us know if you change your mind and want us to come to the hospital. Even though for weeks I said I didn't want anyone at the hospital. Then she said she was packing and said we are coming of course, but not to the hospital. They assumed they could wait at my house. I said no. After 21 hours of labor and 3 hours of pushing, my son was born, and we let my parents know. Immediately, they were asking for photos. I understand they are excited and already love him, but holy shit, I felt they were being needy and not respecting that I was tired, talking to hospital staff, trying to learn to breastfeed, etc. Once we got moved to a recovery room, my husband and I talked and decided to hold off on sending pictures to anyone, including to his favorite to people, his dad and grandmother. So it's not like my parents were being singled out. I can't really even explain why we don't want to send pics of our son out right now. We both just have some anxiety about sending a photo to someone, and then that photo spreading like wildfire to people we did not consent to having a photo of our son sent to, so we've just decided to hold off. Not forever, but for now. We've literally already talked about how excited we are to send our first Christmas cards this year. So this isn't a forever thing. My parents lost their minds, blew up both our phones, stressed me out to the point of tears, so husband called my dad to ask them to stop, and my dad had the balls to hang up on my husband. Then my dad tells me that him and husband don't need to speak or see each other again. When I was discharged and sent home, I sent my parents 3 texts about us being home and asking to FaceTime them so they could see my son via video since we weren't doing photos. They ignored me. We finally FaceTimed yesterday, and my mom told me she had been sobbing all day and it was torture waiting for a photo. I told her she made my labor all about her and that no one asked me and husband what we wanted. It was all about what they wanted. They said they don't understand the photo thing. Everyone else in the world sends photos of new babies. I said I don't care about the world, and I totally see how sending a photo seems like no big deal and our decision seems irrational, but you don't have to understand it. You just have to respect it. Well, that didn't go over well. So tell me the truth. Am I being dramatic? Am I the asshole? My mom said I probably cried in the recovery room. Not because they stressed me out, but because I was just hormonal and tired. Be honest with me. Are my husband and I drawing a hard line over something nonsensical? And use their answers. You should have been giving it to them that they were stressing out a new mother, and that they should be disgusted with themselves they are doing that to their daughter. Girl, you gotta give it back to them. Go hard. They have no right to treat you like this. I would be doing the same thing if I was in your shoes. You are the mom. What you say goes. They suck it up and deal with it. Not the asshole, and congrats mama. Another user points out, grandbaby photos are serious currency in the grandma boasting scene. Your mother really wants to dunk on all her friends. She thinks that everyone circulates baby photos because all her friends do, and she has likely been promising them pictures. And you are correct. Any picture she gets will be circulated far and wide within moments of her receiving it. Her refusal of the FaceTime offer proves that she's not interested in seeing or meeting her grandchild. It is in having grandbaby IP to upload. I'd hold the line, not the asshole. JT Long asks OP, I don't want to be unkind to your parents, but what's wrong with them? Like, are they always like this? Or is this an isolated incident? OP answers, this is not isolated. I said this example earlier, but when my husband and I were engaged, my mom was helping me plan the wedding. When deciding the menu, she wanted to add shrimp, and I said no. She was not pleased. My husband is allergic to shrimp, and not I got a rash type of allergy. It's the my throat is closing up type of allergic, but she wanted shrimp and was pissy when I said no. Let's share my point of view about this story. I believe when you set boundaries with people, particularly those who grew up with you, there's the risk of changing the dynamic of that relationship entirely. One thing to understand sooner rather than later is that not everyone has your best interest at heart and may use manipulation to keep the dynamic the same. In this case, Op and your partner became parents, and that automatically creates a new dynamic that need to be explored. And I believe that those who had the higher hierarchy in the relationship may rush to reclaim their position before you adapt to your new role. In order to avoid that, Op created a strong boundary and settled with it firmly. That's a good decision, because the sooner you establish your new emotional jurisdiction from others, the quicker you can get back to / working on being yourself after the stress of giving birth. Understanding that a boundary is a fence to climb for an ego is very important. Family can bring the strongest egos to the table because they may have a sense of entitlement that gives them the idea they have control over you. A solution that it may work temporarily is to give your parents validation at the same time that you set a boundary. For example, we are not sharing pictures of our baby at the moment because it's something that, for now, we feel afraid to do so. We know how dangerous can be an innocent picture being posted online with all the good intentions, and we would like to think that your great excitement and joy stepped in front of that fact. Our hearts feel full knowing our son is such a dedicated and proud grandparents. And we also know that if there are a situation that can be harmful to him, it will be because of you not knowing the dangers of the situation. Once we recover, we're willing to walk you over those new threats that appeared with the growth of social media and internet that you and your friends may not know, because there was other dangers back then, so we can safely enjoy all our life as a family together at ease. I know that even you don't understand our feelings Riyadh now, I know you are very respectful and loving parents too, and because of that, you will give us some time to heal physically and mentally first. Of course, it will have to be adapted to your own way of speaking, but I hope you get the idea. A pinch of salt and 2 cubes of sugar. I hope that you recover, OP, and I wish you all the best. Now, let's go with the last story. Material Purple 194 writes, asking for relationship advice. My boyfriend won't give me my Dyson hairdryer back. My 22 female, boyfriend 22 male, and I are in a long-distance relationship, and I visited him in Europe 7 months ago, since I live in the US. My current Dyson hairdryer doesn't work in Asian and EU countries, so when I was there, I tried other methods and eventually just purchased one there. I think it was about 600 to 700, I don't remember exactly. Basically, a lot of money, but my reasoning was I'm going to always travel. And I'll definitely be using this a lot. When I left, I had to buy an extra suitcase because of all the things I bought, 80% my mom's things. So I asked him if he could bring my Dyson when he visits me next time. He said sure. I asked if he was absolutely sure because it's pretty bulky, and if he doesn't think he can, I'll make it fit somehow. He assured me he will bring it to me, so I trusted it to him. He visited me in the summer, and I reminded me countless times before to not forget it. Well, he forgot it. And he moved before that, so he said it's not his fault he left it in this particular city. I was obviously annoyed, but I said fine, I'll get it when I visit him next time. His whole family moved to Asia a month ago, so I reminded him to bring my Dyson. He didn't, and said how was he supposed to move it with all his stuff. He said he'll have his mom, who is still in Europe, send it to me. Well, I'm flying to him next week, and I've been telling him either have his mom bring it when she goes to Asia or send it ASAP, please, because I've been traveling without it and I got it solely for traveling. He says I'm probably not going to be able to get it, but he'll try asking, meaning he hasn't even asked her about it. Am I crazy for being upset over a hairdryer? I'm just extremely annoyed he is this irresponsible over someone else's belongings, especially that is quite expensive, and has the audacity to act like none of it was his control. It's not the biggest inconvenience, but I am insecure about my hair and it often affects my mood when I go out, so when I don't have it styled, I don't feel as good. I wanted to feel pretty when I'm visiting him. I feel like I prepare so much for him all the time, and he doesn't show the same effort. Edit. We've been dating 1.5 years, and I honestly don't think he's the type to sell it. He probably doesn't even know how to sell it. He's the most clueless person I know. If anything, maybe he lost it, but he swears he didn't, and that he'll just send it to me, but I probably won't have it by the time I visit him. I just feel like, why didn't he just send it before then, for now? He said he'll send a photo of his cousin holding it by tomorrow law. I feel like the crazy girlfriend. And user points out that there's something he's not telling you. He broke it or lost it or gave it away. He is just stalling and hoping you'll magically forget about it and stop asking. Whether you can get the truth out of him or not, I think he owes you a new hairdryer. OP answers by saying, that's what I thought, but he said he'll have his cousin send it to me. I'm just tired of him saying this and that, but never acting in it. The user's answers OP with, you have no reason to believe this will ever happen. That's why you tell him he needs to replace your hairdryer or give you the equivalent money. OP then says, I use that empty warning on him, but he just says he'll get it to me. So I just kind of have to wait. Another user joins the thread by stating, don't make it an empty threat. Tell him you aren't coming to visit until he sends it and then follow through. OP shares that, I told him until he sends proof. Since he said his cousin will ship it to me, and my ticket is next week. So there is no way I'll get it by then. If he can't send proof, then I'll just go with someone else and not see him except to take everything I gave him back. Another user shares their suspicion. Yeah, sounds like he's given it to his cousin. He probably told them they can have it, which is why he can get a photo, but can't seem to send it back. OP, if he gave it away, he needs to reimburse you for the expensive gift, and if he doesn't pay you, don't give him and his parents their gifts. It's all very well being vague or clueless or whatever, but that doesn't get him a free hairdryer from you. Sometimes people make commitments they shouldn't because they want to be accommodating, nice, or seen as cooperative. However, this ultimately leads to broken promises and a worse life for them, as seen in the story. Integrity is about being honest and truthful in your actions. Following through on your words shows integrity. On the other hand, failing to do so sends the message that you can't be trusted. That kind of unreliability is not something anyone wants to be associated with. I think you should talk to him and let him know that when you left him with the Dyson, you also entrusted him with your trust. Explain what trust means to you and the consequences of losing it. Of course, try to understand if he has a valid reason, as you also value his trust. In any relationship, whether it's personal or business related, trust is like money in a bank account. Our actions either add to or subtract from that trust. If someone keeps taking from your trust account and you allow it to happen, that responsibility falls on you, and if you fail to keep your word, that's on you too. If these issues are ignored, the relationship will weaken and eventually deteriorate. If I were in OP's shoes, I would seriously consider if this person is someone you want to have a future life with. If he's as clueless as you described, he might not be willing to go through the trouble or expense for something that doesn't belong to him. And if he can't bother to do this for you, then he doesn't seem like someone suitable for a long-term partnership. I will not visit him until I have my Dyson back, because I know I will feel sad and mad to be around him when I can't fully trust him with a small action that means so much to me, not just monetarily. I hope that you get your Dyson back, or at least the company sponsors you for the Reddit promo. I send you my best wishes. And that's the end of today's stories, but would love to see other points of views about this topic. If you have another perspective, please let me know in the comment section down below. And that's all what my sense can handle for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you on the next video. Be safe and see you soon.